this time we're talking about YouthEver, which is really cool because you guys have talked about NMN before, but YouthEver is a brand new product. It's still, as Cassie was saying, being rolled out. And it's really important to just kind of talk about it and talk about what it does, its selling points, but really talk about the science of things and why you should take YouthEver. So let's get into it right now. Give me 1 second. Okay. So this whole objective of this presentation is to get to know our new product called YouthEver. And basically, we want to introduce this product because as a seller, as trying to sell this product, you want to be able to be knowledgeable about something that's completely brand new. And then secondly, once you know it, you want to be able to tell the customer or whoever is interested why they should take YouthEver. But as you can see, this is the branding of our box. And what makes YouthEver very different than the products we've sold before is I believe this is the first time that we're selling a packet that's kind of like a jelly. So it's a one packet jelly that you can take for youth. So that's why we call it YouthEver. It's for being youth and it's forever. So that's the kind of combination about it. And I'll talk a little bit more about what's in it. But before I get into that, for those that saw my presentation last month, but more importantly for those that didn't, my name is Dr. Antonio. I'm a nutritional sciences expert here at BFSU-Oline. I do have a couple degrees in the nutritional sciences. So while I'm not exactly a dietitian, I am a true scientist. And part of my job here at BFSU-Oline is not only to inform you guys of what products we have, but also try to help with product development, research and development, to really have the best quality products with the best scientific evidence that are effective for the body. And so know that the products that we're selling here at BFSU-Oline are of extremely high quality, and we have experts, not just myself, but including myself, that really make sure that these products work. So move on to the next slide here. So again, why YouthEver? Well, first of all, know that YouthEver does have NMN in it. So that should be the one of the main selling points. Why do we use NMN? Because it is one of the most advanced ingredients that has been shown to restore your youthfulness. Again, we're talking about youth and vitality. Also, as we know with NMN, it's very good for anti-aging, healthy aging. So it's really a perfect ingredient to introduce to this product. YouthEver, this package, also contains not just NMN, but a couple other substances that are very healthy for you. One is called Resveratrol, which is found in grapes and red wine. And the other one is Grapeseed Extract, which is exactly what it sounds. It's the extract that you obtain from the seeds that are in the grapes. And I'll explain to you why these ingredients are really powerful and really make a difference. Lastly, you know, with NMN, we've always had it in this capsule form where you have to take a pill, you have to swallow it and drink it. This one is really fantastic. It's a jelly or jelly-based supplement. So all you have to do is kind of rip it open and consume it just like any kind of dessert. So it's easy to consume. You can carry it, whatever, in your purse or your bag anytime you kind of need it. And it has great taste. Why? Because we use essential fruit juices in it. So it's a sweet product, but has actual no added sugar. And I'll talk about that more in the next several slides. So when you think about this new product that we're coming out with called YouthEver, I really want everyone to focus on three very important aspects of YouthEver, so that if anybody asks you, why should I take YouthEver, you can think about these three things and memorize them as to why it's really good for you. One of them is it's a great source of antioxidants. Now, we know that there's all kinds of things that can make you look a little bit older, wrinkled skin, and things like that. Part of it's the sun, part of it's the weather, pollution, your diet. But a lot of what causes wrinkles and old age, a lot of that you can see is the oxidants that form in the body. So this YouthEver is a really great source of antioxidants to kind of prevent those kind of things like wrinkles and so forth. Number two thing you should think about when YouthEver, just like you see in the picture, beauty. It's really fantastic for keeping young, keeping your beauty, your vitality. Now, beauty can mean like obviously your skin tone, but it can also be like your energy levels, how you feel, your vitality, those kind of beauty things, your energy. And then third, of course, since it has NMN in it, along with some other ingredients that also have been shown to be anti-aging. So with all these three, antioxidants, beauty, and anti-aging, that's really what encompasses this new product called YouthEver. And our tagline here is the secret of beauty. So you may be asking, okay, Dr. Antonio talked about what NMN, that NMN is in YouthEver, but what other components are there? So here, as you can see, we have NMN, of course, but we have things like resveratrol, grapeseed extract, acai berry, bilberry, olive leaf. That all sounds really fancy, but they're basically 7 different types of antioxidants that are with the NMN. So that's how you can really think about it. It's YouthEver is NMN with resveratrol and 7 different antioxidants with some fancy names. And if you've seen grapeseed extract, acai berry, bilberry, these are what we call superfoods. So these are chemicals or substances within foods that have really been shown to be really healthy for you. And what we've done is we've taken the extract, or basically the essence of these fruits, and extracted them to get the best components. And as you can see to the right here, that's the list of our ingredients. And that's really all there is in it. It's all just really good stuff for you. There's no extra fillers or nothing else in the YouthEver. So it's a very clean product as well. So I've talked about that YouthEver has NMN, resveratrol, and 7 different types of antioxidants. But you might be wondering, what is resveratrol? Now, I don't know for many of you, but resveratrol has been around for quite a long time now, but wasn't discovered until not that long ago. And if you've heard of resveratrol, it's probably due to what we call the French paradox. And I think it's a little bit easier if I explain the French paradox. So basically, there's this question back several years ago as to why do French people who consume a lot of calories, a lot of butter, have the highest fat diets in the world, yet they have some of the lowest heart disease rates in the world too? How does that make sense? How can you consume this fatty diet and yet have perfectly good heart levels? And the researchers found that there's this chemical that's found in grapes, particularly in the skin, but this is also found in berries too, called resveratrol, which is also an antioxidant. And it's abundant, as you can see, in red wine. And researchers think that if the reason how this French paradox occurs is that the French consume enough red wine to counteract the effects of their high-fat diet. As you can see to the top right, this is the symbol that shows that the World Health Organization, which is the highest body of health in the world, understands resveratrol to be a substance that contributes to a healthy heart. And the bottom right here is to also show that resveratrol is not just in red wine, it's in blueberries, raspberries. The resveratrol is actually responsible for that kind of dark blue reddish color. It's just that grape skins or grapes have a very high level of resveratrol, but you can get it from other foods. So resveratrol is completely natural. It's completely good for you. And as you'll see in the next several slides, the more important thing is how resveratrol acts with NMN, which is quite amazing. And I'll talk about that very soon. But before I get to talk about the combination between NMN and resveratrol, I want to talk about what makes the resveratrol that we put in YouthEver so important. So one of the things that we have as far as the ingredients for resveratrol is we have it in this ultra-fine powder size. Now, it doesn't matter what you see on the screen as far as the powder size, but it's very, very, very small. And why that's really important as far as a very small powder is that the smaller the ingredient is, the more fine a powder that you have, it actually leads to a better absorption. So it's a kind of phenomenon that we have basically in our bodies, that anything that's the smallest portion gets absorbed better. Also, there's resveratrol within one packet. We have an equivalent resveratrol to 186 glasses of wine. Now, again, I don't recommend drinking 186 glasses of wine. Remember, resveratrol is just an extract of the wine itself. So, of course, it doesn't contain any alcohol, but it has very potent levels of this wine. Secondarily, with YouthEver, note that there's no sugar added. So yes, it's the YouthEver is kind of really tasty, unlike some of, unlike taking a pill where you can't tell. This contains all these fruit juices, but there's no sugar added, which means that we just use the natural fruit juices that are there, which is really nice. You get the nice sweet taste, but we don't add any sugar. So that's some more of the selling points about the taste of resveratrol and or the taste of YouthEver and why it would work. But this is really why I want to talk to you about resveratrol and why we entered it into a formula with NMN. So this looks like a somewhat complicated image, but don't worry about how complicated it is. I'll go through it step by step and make it really simple. So of course, we can take NMN as a supplement. And from previous talks, if you take NMN as a supplement, it goes inside our bodies and becomes transformed into NAD+. And remember, the whole point of NMN is we want to boost up our NAD+ stores in our body, which has healthy effects to prevent age-related diseases. It's supposed to be helpful for healthy aging, anti-aging, things like that. So we want to boost the NAD+. But why do we include resveratrol? Well, as you can see in this little diagram here, and it's highlighted in yellow, don't worry about the term allosteric modification, but basically what resveratrol does, it boosts the effects of NAD+ in your body. So as you take NMN, and as they become transferred to NAD+, resveratrol basically makes the NAD+ go way higher. So it's basically this boost or turbo shot of NAD+. It makes it go, turns NMN into NAD+ faster and more. If you look at to the right in the yellow, resveratrol also speeds up sirtuin activity. So what does that mean? So not only does resveratrol boost up your NAD+ stores, but it increases the sirtuins, which from previous lectures are your longevity genes, and it really cranks them up higher, and it makes them really strong to prevent aging. So as you can see in the top thing, the sirtuins are the longevity genes that keep you looking healthy and youthful. So if you have NMN, it's fantastic. Of course, it'll do all this. It'll boost up your NAD+ stores. It'll increase your sirtuins to make you healthy and to prevent aging. You add resveratrol into it, and it makes it even faster. So it's sort of like both are cars, but one is a normal car, and if you add resveratrol, it's sort of like a Ferrari now, if that analogy works for everybody. And you don't have to take my word for it. I brought this person along for my presentation. Again, this is Dr. David Sinclair, professor of genetics at Harvard Medical School, and he's probably the most anti-aging expert that we have, who's produced probably hundreds of studies and hundreds of studies on NMN, on NAD, and anti-aging. And I took this quote from him, which says that you have to think of resveratrol as the accelerator and NMN as the fuel. So if you have NMN as the fuel and you have resveratrol as the accelerator, that car is going to go faster and it's going to be higher performance. And so I think that's a really great way to understand how resveratrol really boosts up your boosts up the NMN performance in your body. So that's why we include resveratrol in it. This is also a slide that I used last month, but I just kind of really want to reiterate that this Professor Sinclair, not only is he an NMN expert, but he actually shows that it works because he personally takes it. There's not many supplements on the market where the expert will say, look, I am proof that I take this supplement. And if you don't even really believe him that he takes it or that it works, he actually prescribes it to his dad, who is older. So it's a product that has not only just great scientific evidence, but the actual expert himself and his dad takes it. So you can trust that it's a really great product. So, and similar to what I did for last month's presentation, I'm a scientist, as everyone knows, and I want to make these presentations as simple as I can to relate the whole point of the product. But I think most people will try to get more out of it if I talk about more of the science. Because remember, these products are based completely on science. They work because they've been proven. So this is an article that came out, I think, a couple years ago. And this is an article found in Cell Metabolism. Now, for those that aren't scientists, what happens is when we do research in the laboratory, to validate the fact that our laboratory experiments work, we publish articles to show the scientific community and everybody else that that something either works or that doesn't. And these scientific articles are ones that are actually have experts that have edited the article, and basically once it gets published, it means that it's as high a quality as you can for science. This particular journal called Cell Metabolism is probably in the top 5 journals in the world. So you can bet that the science of this is extremely high quality. Anyway, so the title of this slide, or the title of the publication, is that Resveratrol directly activates sirtuins and provides youthful energy. So I showed you guys a picture before that Resveratrol actually increases your sirtuins. But then how do we know this? How do we know this is real? I could have just said that. Well, these authors did a study to show it. And what they're able to show is that if you give Resveratrol, which is, I'm doing this low dose form, which is highlighted in yellow, it directly activates your sirtuins. And if you follow the green arrows, it increases your mitochondria. So it'll make more energy. And so remember, mitochondria is your energy sensors. So directly, the resveratrol will follow this chain. But then somebody might ask, well, doesn't everything boost up sirtuins? And the answer is actually no. So a really interesting skill of these researchers is you can actually remove sirtuins from a mouse model using really fancy equipment. And what they're able to show is that if you remove sirtuins and you add resveratrol, basically these mitochondria, these energy sensors below, don't work. So we know for a fact that resveratrol works directly through sirtuins. So it's a really beautiful way to demonstrate that a product that we think works actually does work. And I'm going to show you guys another study. So this study was published about last year, late last year. So it's only occurred within the last 6 months, actually. And we're talking about YouthEver, right? And we're talking about youth, particularly in females, and restoration of your youth, keeping not only your skin healthy, but your mind sharp, your energy levels. But what's another way to think about youthfulness, especially in women? Well, what about fertility? So this is a really interesting study that came out recently. The title is Nmn increases your NAD+, which we know, but it preserves your youthful fertility. So as you get older, obviously you lose the ability to get pregnant and to have children. And what these professors were able to show is that basically as you age, one of the reasons why it's harder to have babies later on is because your oocytes, which just is a fancy term for your egg quality decreases over time, which I think most people know. Your egg, it's just less quality. What wasn't known is actually not only does your egg qualities decline, your NAD plus stores decline as well. So these professors thought, well, what if you were to give an older mice that can't have kids, what if you were to give them NMN, which restores NAD plus? Would it improve their ability to have babies or not? Who knows, right? But they were able to do this experiment. And as you can see on the bottom right, I have it highlighted in yellow, they were able to show that NMN supplementation can actually restore your oocyte quality, your egg quality. So you're able to now get pregnant easier, better, and you're able to have kids. And you have less decrease in losing kids. And so if you think about by the time you get to 35 to 40 years old and it's harder to have children, Nmn can actually restore your youthfulness back to having kids, let's say when you're back, 20, 25, and 30. So when you think about YouthEver, it encompasses all kinds of youth, and one of them would be fertility. And I think this is a really beautiful study, and hopefully gives you an idea of the power of Nmn, Resveratrol, and YouthEver. And if anyone has questions about any of these reports or studies, I can more than answer them. So I've talked about Nmn, I've talked about Resveratrol. So why grapeseed extract? Well, you can think about Nmn and Resveratrol. Remember, they're boosting your NAD plus stores and they're protecting against aging. So that's one level. But the other level is protecting yourself against all kinds of things, all kinds of other external things. So we use grapeseed extract because it's a powerful antioxidant, which again protects your body against different stresses. And as you can see on the bottom here, the antioxidant content of grapeseed extract is about 50 times more than vitamin E, which is a potent antioxidant, and 20 times more powerful than vitamin C. So remember, we take vitamin C to fight off colds because it works as an antioxidant. And think about grapeseed extract. It's 20 times more powerful. So we only really want to use the most powerful ingredients to protect our body. And that's why we chose grapeseed extract. And as you can see here, it not only works on oxidative stress, but it also works on your immune system. Again, that same vitamin C effect, but also things like inflammation of the body, which occurs all the time. And this thing called apoptosis is cancer. It also works on angiogenesis, so it's heart healthy for you. So this is some of the reasons why we use grapeseed extract as well. Now I want to talk about the technology behind YouthEver. So I talked about that it's a gel that you consume. It's not a pill. You don't need to swallow. You just kind of take it in its form, and it's really easy to swallow and consume. We use this word called gelceuticals, which means that each active ingredient in a product is distributed more evenly and doesn't sediment. So what does that mean? It means that every time you take one of these YouthEver gels, it always has the same amount of ingredients in it, and there's not any less on the bottom or any more on the bottom. It's a technology proprietary thing that we do to make sure that every time you take it, it's the same exact dose. So you're not getting any more or any less, you're getting consistent amount. And especially if you take it every day, you really want to think about consistency. The other thing about the technology that we use is cold press concentration technology. So when we do the antioxidants, and specifically when we do the juices, we don't actually do any kind of heat treatment. Now, the antioxidants, they can actually be less potent if you heat them or if there's light against it, things of that nature. And so by cold pressing it and doing a gentle treatment, you make sure the antioxidants are 100% intact so that they can work against oxidants and free radical damage. So it's basically the highest level of prevention that you can have by using this cold press technology. So then you're asking, okay, I talked about YouthEver, I talked about the ingredients in it, I talked about what these ingredients do, I've shown these kind of things, but who is YouthEver for? So again, it's an antioxidant. So think about people that want to restore their skin's luster and elasticity. Now, that could be somebody that's young and wants to preserve their youth, but also remember, NMN is about not just anti-aging, but healthy aging. So think about you're a little bit older, you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s. You also deserve to age gracefully. So it can be any woman really from 20s to 60s that can take the product. So beauty, maintaining vitality and improving complexion. Now, it's great for people, for women that like to exercise, that have a healthy lifestyle. As you can see here on the left, there's yoga. On the right, it's for working out. I think previously, last month, I talked about how NMN is really good for athletic performance. So YouthEver doesn't necessarily just mean skin either. It partly does, but it also means being in great physical shape. Anti-aging, activating your cellular molecules to regain your youth. So we talked about skin and radiance. We talked about exercise, but this product is also great for women that are of high, that have very high careers, that are high performing, that are working women that want to keep their energy. So as you can see on the left and the right, these are very, these are women that excel at different careers and they do long hours. And so this NMN will give them this healthy vitality, both energy, but also their skin and their complexion. So these are the selling points. And I think if you were to tell your customers why YouthEver, this is the kind of things you want to tell them about. You want to tell them that it's a golden combination of 7 antioxidants that are extremely powerful, that have been proven to be effective. Of course, it has NMN, so you want to tell them about the anti-aging or healthy aging aspect. But you also want to say, hey, like, if you don't want to take the NMN capsules, because for some people they're hard to take, you have to swallow them. Now you can take it in sort of a juice jelly form that tastes really good. So you can put it, like I said, in a bag, and when you need that boost of energy, you can take a packet of it, of this jelly substance, and it's perfect. It tastes great, and it's really great for your lifestyle. And then who are the use cases? Well, obviously we're targeting YouthEver for women. If men want to take it, of course you can do that, but we are targeting this product for women, as you can see with the style of the product. But who is it for? Well, you can gift it to your wife, your sister, you can gift it to your business partner, your friends. So you have to think about all those case scenarios that I talked about with YouthEver, as far as young women, old women, professional women, athletic women, all kinds of women would be perfect for YouthEver. So keep that in mind when you think about who would be interested in purchasing YouthEver. And this is a product use guide. So basically, it's one pouch. That pouch contains about, I forget, I think it's like 400 mils of jelly. It's not that much, and it's very easy to consume. We recommend that you take it once a day, and it comes in 1 month supply. Now, obviously, I said that you can take these pouches with you on the go. So you can take it, anytime you want this extra energy or you want to, whatever suits your day. But like most things, I think if you put it in the fridge and then you take it, it's really tasty. And then it becomes sort of like this kind of nice cold sweet dessert. So again, so it's 900 mils. So not too much liquid, but just enough to feel like you can get something out of it. So we make the YouthEver. This one is made back in our USA manufacturing. 1 pouch a day, and the storage. Of course, this just use our adults, because remember, we're trying to keep your youth, so it's mainly for adults. And then I just want to give a little bit brief introduction on who we are as a company here at BF Suma. So again, BF Suma is the first and only NMN producer for Africa. So we have the only non-vitamin anti-aging product on the African market. We use the most advanced technology to make a product of NMN that's extremely pure, and combine that with now YouthEver and other products that will come out later. We're going to make a really enhanced portfolio of NMN that really hasn't been seen. And the reason why we're doing that is we want to make sure that NMN is for everybody. Now, we think everybody could take a pill, but we also realize that not everybody wants to take a pill. You know, some people want an easier thing to consume. So that's why we came up with YouthEver. And this is, I'm just finishing up here, but I just want to tell you that, again, just to reiterate to not just yourselves, but your customers. We've been in Africa for the last 15 years. So we're a company that really invests itself in the African market, and we're not planning to really ever leave. Note that what Suma stands for as far as nutritional products, this is not just NMN, but all our line. So that could be the Ganoderma, pure and broken spores, that can be any of our products. They're all made in the USA. So we use USA facilities. We all have these certifications which show that we produce these under very fine conditions. And so what this says is not every product is like this. So we are your trusted source for health and nutrition. And not just that, we actually own our own factories in the USA too. So we monitor everything. And I believe that is everything. So I'd like to thank you for listening to my presentation.
Brighter life, better future.